Hi all, Fox from Fox and Kit WoodWorks. Do you ever wonder what tools you need to start your basic DIY stuff around the house? Or maybe just getting into woodworking as a beginner? Well, in today's episode of the Fox Den, we're going to be going over some of the basic tools you need to be able to do DIY projects and some simple woodworking projects around your house. So crack your favorite beverage, still a water today, and welcome to the Fox Den. So for today's episode, I'm going to go over the basic tools you'll need to do DIY stuff around your house and also get into some basic woodworking. When you first start off, you don't need all the tools that you see behind me. I've accumulated these through hand-me-downs, from the father-in-law, friends, purchased quite a few, and mainly as a hobby grew into a business, made changes and bought different tools to be able to better support my needs or make things more efficient. So when I first started, though, all I started with was circular saw, skill saw for most, good drill set or drill set, a hammer, tape measure, level, pencil. It's basically all you need to really get started into woodworking and DIY stuff. We'll go into in later videos about other tools that might be necessary or helpful, and some of the products that I like to use mainly for both cost effectiveness and availability. First off, when you get into woodworking, you're going to need some specific items to be able to create your projects or know what sizes you need. So first, I would say you need to get yourself a good tape measure. Now, I really like this fast cap tape measure. Matt over at 731 put me onto this. I'd used DeWalt brand, Skill, take your pick, Stanley, of different tape measures, but this one I really like. This is the fast cap 25-foot lefty righty, and what I like about this one is, one, you can read it from the left and the right side. See if you can get a view of that. It goes down to 1/16 of an inch, and it has a built-in pencil sharpener and a little place where you can write notes and then rub it off later. Has a good clip on it, both lock and thumb or finger lock for quick measurements. Really like this one. Next, a level. Depending on what kind of project you're making, you might be doing a fence, gazebo, maybe just some stuff hanging in your house. A good level is what you're going to need. Depending on the size of your project, you might need to go to a 4-foot level or as small as like a 1-foot, 2-foot, but a good level is always necessary. Next, a pencil. Any pencil will do. Depending on what kind of woodworking you're doing, you might need a finer tip. If you're doing fine carpentry, your normal Home Depot run-of-the-mill one's great for any of your rough carpentry, or even any of your marking your cuts. I really like this Thorvald. I bought a set of these. It comes with different colors, so that way, depending on what types of wood you're working on, you'll be able to see it easier, because sometimes this graphite doesn't always show up on darker woods, but it comes with a yellow and white pencil that you can put in there too. So really like this one. Next, a square. Bought this with the Thorvald kit. Really like it. This one actually has increment measures, so you can actually put your marks in and just draw lines out on your pieces of wood. But you just want a good, decent square. Just make sure it's square. That's the biggest important part. Next, for cutting your wood. Now, there's lots of options out there on the market. You can go with a compound miter, a chop saw, table saw, bandsaw, a whole bunch of things. But when you're first starting off and you're doing your DIY projects or maybe some small things around the house, typically you're going to be working with either rough cut lumber or framing lumber. What I would go with was a circular saw. Now, this is a higher end circular saw. Luckily, it was a Christmas gift, birthday gift for my wife. So I got a nice Makita here. But really, any of them work well. Just do some reviews and checking out. I know Skill makes a nice one. I have a Ryobi one. It's okay. It's for smaller pieces. It works great for that. Bigger pieces, not so much. But you want to get a good circular saw. Next, a good set of drills. And this is where I will talk about Ryobi and how I actually really like Ryobi. I know there's a lot of haters of the big green machine, but I love them. First off, their batteries are interchangeable, and the 18-volt system doesn't matter if it's like these 10 years old or brand new. If it's an 18-volt battery system, you put in the new battery, it'll work. Bought this set, like I said, 10 years ago. They're still running strong. Would love to get the brushless upgrade at some point, but hey, they're working. Next, a good hammer. So you're going to be working with some nails at times. You need a good hammer. This is just an Irwin 16 ounce, I believe. Yeah, 16 ounce hammer. Good solid hammer. That's all you really need to start with. With all these things, you can create multiple different projects and DIY stuff around your house. Now you might be thinking to yourself, well, yeah, what if I have to make an angle cut? Or what if I need to make a big long rip on something? Well, first off, your angle cuts. Your square has angles on it. You know, from 90 all the way down to 5 degrees and even in between. So one of the things that you can do with this is mark your measurements and then freehand it with the circular saw. That might get a little bit funky, especially on 2x4s, 4x4s, 2x6s, things like that. But one of the little kind of cheats you can do on it is take your measurement mark, get your angle in, and let's see if I can find a piece of wood for you. So you're making your 90-degree cut. Well, let's say you want to take it down to 15 degrees. All you got to do is move that bottom down to where it's on that 15 line. Now you got a 15-degree angle cut. Take a clamp or just hold it with your pressure of your hand, and you can take your skill and line it up and run it along that line. Makes it really simple and handy. In fact, the last project I made, the giant arch, I actually used a circular saw on 90% of the cuts I had to do on it. I only used a jigsaw to make the round cut, but that's for a different video. Now, let's say you're trying to make a longer cut. Maybe you have to cut a sheet of plywood down. You don't have a table saw to be able to rip it in half. What you can do is if you go ahead and get yourself the 4-foot level, and I'm going to step off camera again. You can take your measurement points, clamp it down on each end, and run the skill saw along that too. Just make sure you look at it beforehand. There's not enough clearance on this side where the motor is to go past this, but on the other side you can. So that is my quick down and dirty basic tools to get into DIY and also basic woodworking. With all this, you can create lots of things. You can make outdoor furniture. You can cut out, pieces of wood for signs, build your fences, make a table, a whole bunch of things. Once you start getting into smaller projects or stuff that's more, we'll say, detailed, that's when you got to move up to other types of tools, such as your compound miter saw, so you can do different angles more efficiently. Even this saw here will cut angles on a miter, but also offset up to, let's see, what does it say, 55 degrees? So you can get away with a lot with this. It's just going to take a little more time, a little more prep work, a little bit more measuring, and a steady hand while you're doing it. So anyways, hope you enjoy this little short video for the Fox Den. Stay tuned for the next one. Have a good day.